Here's some of my personal considerations for community building while you are time banking.
Hello everyone, my name is Fatima Mahmood. Welcome and welcome back to my channel.
This video represents my own comments and reflections on behaviors I've observed during time banking exchanges and communications. Commenting on other people's postings. In your online platform like Our World or something else, you will see postings that are either an offer or a request, sometimes an announcement. Those are to initiate potential exchanges. I encourage everyone to please avoid judging how a posting is written or what is being said. It's okay if you disagree with how it's written or what is being written. Maybe if you have repeated concerns about a particular time banker, you might talk to the leadership of the board. You don't need to write to or comment to the person who's making the posting. Avoid negative or critical language when communicating about what the other person posted. There's no need to give a person feedback on their posting unless you are directly asked by that person to provide that feedback. You may think that you are helping them out even if they didn't ask for your help, but it can easily and quickly come across as judgmental. For example, I often need rides, so I will do a posting request for a ride. And then I have a list of people who often in the past have offered rides. And so I will send them targeted messages through Our World saying, hey, have you by chance seen my posting for this ride? Might you be available? Could you just let me know? If someone reaches out to you like that, be nice and be considerate, even if you don't agree with how the posting was. Manage realistic expectations. You have to manage your expectations about what you can actually receive in a time bank compared to professional level services that you could comfortably expect to find in a market economy. You may not actually get professional level services in a time bank due to many factors. For example, if you are using a for-profit rideshare application, there are company expectations for the cleanliness of the car, how it is presented, the safety, the year the car was manufactured, etc. You can't have the same expectations when you are getting a ride through a time bank and not paying actual money for it. Some people might not have so much space in their car available. They can just give you a ride, but maybe not too much luggage, etc. Or maybe they might have a lot of things in their car, whereas a rideshare wouldn't be allowed to have so many things in their car. Especially if a person is offering a ride and they have children, a car seat, or other items belonging to their children, and they're generally not going to remove those items just for giving someone a ride in a time bank. Same thing if they regularly transport their pet in that car. You have to be realistic about expectations about how clean you want the car to be compared to the cleanliness of a paid rideshare car. People treat the inside of their personal car different from other people. Similarly, if you're doing an exchange and it involves you being in someone's home, you need to communicate effectively about things beforehand. For example, if you are not comfortable around pets or you have allergies, it's important to communicate that early on before the exchange starts. It creates awkwardness to have to adjust certain things once an exchange starts, and it just takes up time. And people might not have a lot of extra time to go beyond the hours they've set for the exchange. If you are going to have people come to your home for an exchange, you can also proactively mention that you have pets and ask if they have any concerns or allergies. Also, keep in mind that people's kids could be home during an exchange, and that could lead to potential distractions, and both parties need to be comfortable with that situation. All of that is different when you hire professionals from the market economy and pay them to come to your home and do something for you. Here are a couple examples from my own experience. I once offered my help to a time banker to move packed boxes when that person was moving from one home to another. The person had set up the boxes and organized them based on shape and size of the box and according to them, what each one weighed. They missed out on some expectation setting before the exchange started. I would lift each box to see if it felt manageable for me to pick up and move. If it was too heavy for me, I left it there and then I'd try out another box. And this person knew beforehand that I was not a professional mover and didn't have much moving experience. So whatever system that person had in place for which box should be next to which box, I could not maintain that because what was comfortable weight for that person and what was not heavy for that person was different than what was not heavy for me. That person kept trying to say and remind me that the box was organized in a certain way, and that was ultimately unhelpful in that exchange. If you hire professional movers who were trained in effective ways to move boxes from one place to another, there would also be consideration in that professional company of how much each employee could be expected to lift. I could not maintain that system because that person did not set it up for non-professional movers. Here's another example. I once helped a person paint certain parts of the home. I communicated with them clearly beforehand that I had no painting experience when it comes to home painting. This person attempted to teach me certain techniques and was very concerned and anxious about things like paint dripping and what marks it would leave and how it would look and other things. There would be gaps in time between when we met up to paint. So the next time that I would come over, I would have forgotten certain techniques and they may not have remembered to remind me of those techniques or demonstrated them to me again. Clear frustrations on both ends, and it became a tense situation from my perspective. If you know someone in a time bank and they have lots of home painting experience, but they're not professionally trained, they could still participate in this exchange and it could potentially be a great exchange. But if you want something that is as serious as home painting to be done at a professional level, you have to be careful when you have those expectations within a time bank and there's not professional services available. Let's discuss expectations of last-minute changes. In a time bank, there are people who are different from each other based on age, generation, culture, etc., etc. One of the areas of conflicts I've noticed is something that I would associate with age, generation, and expectations around what it means to change plans on each other within a reasonable amount of time. When you're setting up an exchange, my advice is don't assume the other person shares your definition of what is too last minute for changes. Discuss that ahead of time. What method should be used for communicating with each other if plans are going to be canceled? Realistically, how far in advance is notification expected by both people? There are several generations out there that think a 2-hour notice ahead of time of a cancellation is completely acceptable and socially normal. There are other generations that believe 24 or even 48 hours is what is appropriate for cancellation notification, and that anything less than that is disrespectful behavior. Instead of thinking one group is right and the other group is wrong, or one person was rude and the other person experienced that rudeness, establish mutual expectations of cancellations ahead of time. If you're the person that might be canceled on because you are giving in that exchange, please tell the other person, hey, I need to know an hour or whatever amount of time ahead of time so that I can change my plans and do X, Y, and Z. People in the exchange should also discuss compensation for cancellation. Some people don't expect any compensation with time if an exchange or meetup is canceled. Someone might feel they deserve time even if the exchange didn't occur because it was canceled last minute. Discuss this ahead of time, not as the events unfold or the cancellation happens. If you have been canceled on and you're expressing that you want time compensation, I encourage you to watch your language and tone carefully as you craft that message, so there is no demand, entitlement, or blame in the request. Keep in mind that if one person in the exchange has childcare responsibilities, that anything can happen at any moment, including last-minute cancellation. For example, kids become sick. The important thing is to agree upon a notification schedule and to agree upon the communication method. Along with this difference in age and generations is that some generations are frequently checking their phones to different degrees. They're checking text messages, they're checking emails, they're getting notification. And there are still some generations in time banks who don't check email on the weekend, or don't check email every day, or don't check email before an exchange is supposed to happen, or they don't really check text messages. It's important to figure out communication method and expectations beforehand. And when someone cancels on you last minute in a time bank, please be kind to each other. I've witnessed situations where people were unkind and could have been kinder to each other. The more aware we are of how we treat each other during exchanges, the stronger the bonds we create within the time bank.
Thank you for watching my video. I'd love to hear from you on email at fmahmood@wellesley.edu. You can also find me on LinkedIn at that address. And if you do send me a connection request, please go ahead and send me a note. Before you go, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And please go ahead and watch my next video. Thank you.